All right. So what I think we got today is looks like we're talking about generosity and giving. All right. So let me look here. Um, what is this? Time travel. When and where would you go first? That's funny.
I know this is kind of hard. So I just thought of three different time zones.
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah, one of them is in the future. The other two are in the past.
Gotcha.
I want to travel to 2030 through
Okay.
2032.
What's in 2032?
Future stuff. And I want
Gotcha.
to see future me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I want to go see the 1950s and the 1970s.
Okay.
They had fast food in the 1950s and 70s. I want to go see what their fast food tastes like.
Mm, there you go.
The 1950s is when the real McDonald's came out, and then they started
Mm.
modifying it up and up.
I I was watching this. There's this show on History Channel. It's like the history of food kind of thing. I forget what it's called, but it talks about how these people develop the different food things that we have. And
Okay.
I was watching, so there was like one that was on Pizza Hut and Domino's that was interesting. And I was watching one on this thing that it's the first fast food like hamburger place is called White Castle, and it was out of Kansas. And we don't have them around here, but they have them in the Midwest.
They have
And
them in New York too. I've been there. New
yeah,
York City, I should say, but
they're from Kansas, and the reason we don't have them here is because the people who own it didn't want a franchise, meaning they didn't want to like sell their idea and let somebody else do it. They wanted it to all be controlled by them, and so they can only do so many restaurants like that. But
what
they
if they
did
could just get more workers to go to here so that they don't do it by themselves?
well. I think the thing is that sometimes if you don't like trust people to go do it the right way, kind of thing. I think it was kind of
Mm.
their thing. Which I think there's some. I mean, there's something to that because I know that I've been to different like McDonald's or Wendy's and stuff, and it's like
I've actually never been to New York City, and when I went there, I had my first White Castle burger. Like I've never had one before,
the other one that
and it
was
was.
on that.
I
The,
know it was actually super duper duper good.
yeah, the other one
I
that was
tried one without cheese. I was like, "Hey, this is pretty good." But when I tried one with cheese, I feel like I was gonna
mhm.
just fly away.
the um the other one that was on that episode was the Nathan's hot dog, which is also that one's actually from New York.
What's the Nathan hot dog?
It's like a certain type of hot dog. And like it's a
I've never tasted it.
yeah, they're pretty good. So anyway, all right. So we're talking about generosity here. All right. And so generosity is benevolent, meaning like out of good, right? Bennett like beneficial. So the prefix bena means good. Unselfish trait of being willing and happy to give to those in need. So generosity matters because see it I this is true, but it also, there's other things to this than this. So it
Yeah.
says giving to others makes us feel happy and can release endorphins or hormones that trigger positive feelings, can reduce stress and improve physical health and longevity. And giving encourages cooperation and trust. And when you give to others, you feel more connected to them. Um, and then it says giving promotes gratitude and a feeling of thankfulness. That one, number four, I think is the one that I definitely agree with. And then it is contagious and inspires others to give even to even more people. So
That's true.
yeah.
I saw a video on YouTube with my fifth grade teacher
Hmm.
when I was in elementary school, of course. Towards the end of the year, we saw a person, this one little girl, who helped a man because they dropped their wallet and it passed on until it ended up right back around her.
Hmm.
Scraped her knee at the end of the video, and there was this nice lady who was helped at last who was helped last, and she came around to help the first person.
Yeah.
And luckily, she had some band-aids and stuff on her because she is a doc. She was a nurse.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with the fourth one here. The thing what I would say is if you give because you know it makes you feel good about yourself, then there's something I think wrong with the heart of giving if that's why you give, right? Like,
I
um,
don't give because it makes me feel good. I give
yeah,
because I know it's gonna make other people feel good.
right, right. And so I think the
It
thing,
does make me feel good to give because I like seeing people happy,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, there's a difference between like, yeah, I know I will be happy when I do this, but that's not why I do it, right?
See that's the kind of feeling I get. Now if you give because you want to feel good, that
That there's something lost in that, like there's some
yeah. Like you're
like
not
that,
doing to make the person feel happy, you're making
and
feel
that's where I
yourself.
would say that's different than like, for example, when we talk about like working hard and studying for a test or something like that.
Mhm.
The point of that is, yeah, you want to feel successful. There's nothing wrong with that,
But
right?
you also want to make your teacher proud.
Yeah, on your mom and
And
stuff.
your parents, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a level of that, but I think in this case, when we're talking about, being generous and giving, it is way more about the other person and, helping them out and just helping you recognize, that feel thankful for what you got too.
Yeah.
So I would say that this is a different sort of one than in talking about some of the kind of disciplining ourselves on the school kind of stuff. Um, so generous person are happier to give than to receive, which is true. Although I would tell you there's some people like I have an aunt who's a very generous person, but she also really likes gifts, so she gets excited about giving to people, and but she also gets excited. It makes her feel really loved when you give her a thoughtful gift too, so there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with
I'm that kind of person.
it. Yeah, and there's a book that I like, and there's an adult one and a kids one. It's called The Five Love Languages. I don't know if you familiar with that one. So it just talks about what makes people feel loved by people. Um, and so the five of them are it's spending quality time with people, words of affirmation, like somebody telling you that they're proud of you or whatever, building you up. And then physical touch, like a hug, right? That kind of thing. Then there's acts of service, like where you're doing something for somebody, and then there's giving. And so different people have different amounts of those that make them feel valued and loved. Okay. And so that's where it's kind of like, this is one of
I don't
those.
think y'all noticed, but I was eating.
Yep. Marathon, I noticed.
I know this is chicken noodle because my throat was hurting last night, and I was just like, and you know what I just realized? It says do not microwave
And you microwaved it.
for 5 minutes because that's how I do my noodles, and it's perfect. But why? Isn't that the only? Like I read the instructions and said to microwave it for like literally like 5:15. I put it on 5 minutes because I feel like 5:15 was like too long for me. But if it tells me not to microwave it and then only instructions says to microwave it, I
They
don't.
put it in a bowl that looks like you should microwave it, and then it says do not microwave it. That's not fair.
It's not.
The thing that drives me crazy is so when I was in college, I did not know because I was stupid like this that you obviously you can't put metal in the microwave, right? Or it'll start a fire. So
Why did you do
for
that?
for some reason, I did not think about this. So I wanted like a ear of corn, like where you eat it off the corn on the cob kind of thing, right? So I stuck it in a pot in the microwave, and I was about to burn down our apartment. And it was like, oh my gosh, how stupid I am. Then then
I've always
I knew better.
when I was old enough to learn not to put the thing in the microwave, I would never because my mom would just tell me straight up, this house is going to the microwave is either going to explode or catch on fire. And if the fire does not stop, the house will be on fire. And I have never,
So what's
ever.
crazy though, all right, so that was stupid enough. But the second thing I did, I actually did this one more time even after I knew it. Here's what, Aaliyah, this one connects to your story about your noodle bowl is that so on you ever had the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit before?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Sorry.
Okay. On the inside of the little paper, you know how it look? It's this paper thing.
Yes, the crinkly. I love the crinkly.
Do you know what's on the
yeah.
inside of the paper?
No. Metal.
Metal.
Nah, Mr. Carter.
So
You gotta take the biscuit out, put it on a separate plate, and
I,
go.
I was at school, okay, and I had this biscuit
Can't.
and I needed to rewarm it later, and I stuck it in there, not realizing there was metal at the inside of the thing because it just looked like paper. So I was like, oh, it's
It
cool.
does look like paper until you
Yeah. Yeah. So
touch it first to make sure it don't feel like a
yeah.
fork.
So the lesson from that is don't make that mistake, right? Like you
I've
can
never made that mistake ever. Not putting.
well
I
that
don't. No.
well, but see that one, the reason that was so tricky is because it doesn't look like metal on the outside. And so if you're not thinking about it, you can put it in there anyway, right? So you have to look and see.
Like if I wanted to read this first, I would have been like, yeah, time to put it in a separate
Yeah.
bowl.
So moral of my story is don't microwave Chick-fil-A chicken biscuits because there is metal on the
I
inside.
mean, unless you put, at least you have a separate plate, then put the biscuits on it
Yeah.
without the paper, so
Oh
you
yeah,
don't go
yeah,
blow up
yeah.
the
Basically, you
microwave.
got to microwave it on the plate. That's what I mean. All right. Back to what we're on here. So, generous people give what they can, even if it's not a lot. Grateful for the things they have, do helpful things for others, and admire and respect others who are generous and they're happy with less. Um, and I would say too, um, somebody who's really generous is not going to want to feel like they got to go tell and get recognition for what they've given. In the sense that if you're doing that, you're doing it not because you're generous, but because you want the attention, right? And there's a major difference there between really being generous and giving in order to get recognition
I
for it.
am literally generous. Like I wouldn't mind if somebody noticed me, but I do not want to be noticed.
Right. So like
Yeah,
you know
like just the
you know
other
how there'll
day.
be people that will like give these millions of dollars so their name can be on some building or something, right?
Yeah, whatever.
And it's like
That's not
that's that's
that's
not
not
really
the generous way. No.
that's not generous, right? Like so, you're in Columbia. If you go to some of the newer buildings they built on the USC campus, they got somebody's name on it because they put like $20 million or something. And it's
I
like,
would not care if somebody noticed me, but I would not want to be like put on a
yeah,
billboard just for free. I would be like, no, please don't.
yeah.
Just
Um,
don't. I'm
so
just being generous because that's who I am. I just
yeah. So we have no one has ever. This is Anne Frank. No one's ever become poor by giving.
that's
Um,
true.
and so Anne Frank, of course, was, that one's a famous story, but she was killed in the Holocaust. Then
I'm sorry.
Ace Aesop, who was ancient Greek story writer person, said no
Oh,
act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted. And then some unknown person said, kindness is a gift everyone can afford to give. Those are good quotes. Okay, I think that's
how is
probably.
that unknown? Shouldn't they know?
Oh, there's more.
Oh, okay.
Isabel Allende, I guess, said we only have
Allende.
what we give. Yeah, because it would be Spanish. That's the two L's make a Y. So, Booker T. Washington.
Allende.
Those who are happiest are those who do the most for others.
I almost think this is Simon Shrek.
Simon Sinek, I guess. Don't give to get, give to inspire others to give. Not a bad quote. All right, so that's some of those.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
you haven't put in my grades for my quizzes.
if you did it yesterday or the day before, then I haven't seen it. I did it on, I graded on Sunday night and Monday morning. And then yesterday we weren't like, it was technically not even a teacher work day. I did some lesson plan.
I did Mondays. I
Yeah.
did Monday at night, so that might have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. 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 No, I'll get those done today. It was just
Okay.
that it was not a teacher work day
One of them I
yesterday.
got a 92. I think it was the unit 5 quiz 2 that I got a 92 on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was a 92 or 95. I think it was probably a 92. I know it was an A.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, I don't remember if it was a 79 or an 82, but it's between those two. It was the unit 5 quiz 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be looking at that today.
Okay.
All right. So gifts that don't cost anything is a decorated list of fun memories you've had with someone, a letter of thanks and appreciation, a book of like coupons, like I'll do this for you kind of thing.
Coupons.
Um, well, and like my wife's parents will give us when our kids were younger, will give us something. It's like, you know,
Like
pre
a
date
flip book
nights.
to do
We'll watch
your
the
stuff
kids,
and
that kind
like
of
to
thing.
do. Yeah, and then in return you get cha-ching.
Then time to be together.
I do not have a little brother. I do have a little sister though.
And then cook something tasty to eat for somebody. So like if you make something that the other person really likes,
That's what
um,
me and my mom were planning when she wins the lottery
yeah,
to build a homeless shelter and feed the people
right. Well, I
and
I
give
think
them
what I
clothes and give them beds and let them live there till they're on their feet.
yeah. So Aaliyah, what you can think of with this though is like as you get a little bit older, like cook something tasty to eat for your persons. Like when you start learning how to cook things, then you could say, "Oh, I know what my mom likes. I could make it for her for and surprise her or something like that."
My mom, when I'm older, if she gives me her grandma's recipe, but she's always tired because she works.
Mm-hmm.
But if she remembers her grandma's recipe, one day I could probably make it for her, and it would make her really happy because she said her great grandma, sorry, she
Mm-hmm.
said her great grandma's cookies were the best.
So basically, what I'm getting at is that what it's talking about here with generosity is that if you could start, like, if you start thinking, how can I be a blessing to mom, and is there things that you could start, you know, doing for her or making for her or stuff like that, without her
Yeah.
even asking, that's the kind of generosity I think is could really be meaningful.
She had these when she was a kid, so I know it's been quite a while since she has had those cookies.
Yeah.
She
So
didn't
you just
even
give us a
get to
couple of
meet
other
my
ideas
great
there.
grandma.
All right. Good discussion. So I think hopefully that's just some ideas of ways that you could be generous and give and stuff like that, and
So this
get
last question is: can you share one way that you can show generosity to someone without spending any money? When I read this question in my head, I immediately knew homemade gift.
yeah. You could do that, and you also could think, okay, what is something that your mom normally does that you know how to do, and you could do it without her asking.
Vacuuming, doing laundry.
Yeah, things like that, where it's
A
like
whole. Never mind. But yeah,
those are the kind of things I think that you could show her how much you love her by kind of thinking
doing her laundry. I've done that before because I've done my laundry and her laundry in one.
one load. Yeah.
Yeah, one whole load, but I had to split apart. I did mine first to get that out of the way before I
Mm-hmm.
did hers, so that I just
Right. Yeah. Good. All right. I'll see you after a while. You got about
see
five
you after
minutes.
the talk.
You got 5 minutes for social studies. All right. See ya.
All right.